Ghostly greetings, Rahana, your boy Prue. We're doing Asylum by Madeline Rowe. This is part 2 of my American Horror Challenge. Part 2 of 9. So we're getting somewhere with it at least. We're at the low end, but we're starting. I'm going to do the premise, dislikes and likes, and then channel stuff. So let's go from there. Okay, so the premise is pretty cool. A dude named Dan is going to a preparatory college, but the summer housing is shut down, so they have to go stay in an old asylum, basically. And I'm like, that seems like a cool premise. That just seems like, I don't know, it seemed like a good place to start. And I thought that was really cool. And he meets some new friends, Jordan, Felix, and Abby, who is the secondary lead in this stuff. And then one day, Dan decides he's going to ask out one of the girls and gets a mysterious email about a patient. And they start talking about ghost haunting electronics. They find some old disturbing photographs. And I'm like, dude, this is an amazing premise. And it's written really quick. We'll get that to the dislikes, but it's written in such a pattern that you're flying through it. I'm like, man, this is a good story. And that's the basic premise. And then it turns out one of the main characters has a history with the asylum, like a family member went here way back in the day. And then there's that mystery on top of who's sending Dan these ghost emails. And there's like a mystery involving a serial killer and some students and a missing people around town. So the premise, I was like, man, this is like up to page, I'm only on like page 30 with this premise right now. And I'm like, this is getting good. Okay, now for the likes and dislikes. Liked the premise, the art. This book does have like some drawn photographs and stuff, which are really cool. It's kind of like Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children in the way it does certain things. That's sadly where my likes stop. I did not like this book. When I was told about this book, I was told it was a cat and mouse style mystery. Excuse me, cat and mouse style mystery where you have to where a person has to find out a mystery about who sent them like emails like ghost haunting electronics. While other characters are dealing with their own personal stuff like, oh, I got to find an old relative, you know, blah, blah, blah. I got to get to class, you know, so the turmoils of life plus preparatory college, plus haunted emails, missing family, stuff around town, the summer housing shut down, creepy teachers. And I thought this all sounded like an amazing premise, but the book is a YA book that was not told to me when I was given this recommendation from Goodreads. I should have looked more into it. That's on me. That's 100% on me. I just saw the asylum, saw the premise, and I had to get it. I had to check it out in my library. My library even had it, which is unusual because normally they just get it from another library. So I was very excited. But it's very, very YA, very 16, 17-year-old stuff. It's more of what I call the CW than like the Sci-Fi Channel. Because like when you say a girl's 16, 17 years old, there's two different mannerisms you could write that. You could write YA into like young adult, but more adult than young. And some, I think, publishers just use YA as a selling tool to make it a more, because you say, oh, it's adult themed horror, you know, high school kids may not get, but you say if it's young adult horror, high school kids might get into it and word of mouth and all that jazz. But this is more for young, not young adult. I thought some of the stuff, they went on a date. I wasn't actually ever at any point scared. Some of the stuff was like very predictable because it's written for a youth audience. So I'm a little disappointed that one of my 9 books was a downer. But I finished it, 310-ish pages. I finished it in a couple hours because it's a YA book. So that's cool. So I can just mark it off as done and move on to something else. I will not be continuing this series. So for some reason, if you're only here because you think, oh, Pruitt, you're going to love Asylum, I'm sorry, I'm not. And I didn't. The book is available on Overdrive, the audiobook. I should have done that instead. I may have had more fun with it. But it's been your boy Prue. Asylum, I'm going to give a D. Nothing really stands out apart from the premise, which is done better in a lot of other things. If y'all seen the House on Haunted Hill remake, I felt like this was the House on Haunted Hill remake when I was wanting House on a Haunted Hill, the original. So, of my rating scale, I'm going to give it the D. Not the best. Quick read. I'm not going to give it a failure because it's a young adult book. If I would have known that going in, I probably would chose something different. Been your boy Prue. Stay creepy.